Hello and welcome. This is my first screencast, so please bear with me. It's going to be about weak references in Ruby. I had some trouble learning about this stuff myself because there isn't that much stuff about it, and certainly not on YouTube. Weak references in Ruby is something that you can use to make a weak reference to objects. A strong reference is a normal reference that we know, for example, when we make a string like this. The strong reference prevents the string, which is Casper, to be garbage collected and thereby freed from the garbage from memory. A weak reference is a little bit different. It doesn't prevent the garbage collector from collecting the object, which means that if you call the object that the weak reference holds, you might get an error saying that it's no longer found in memory. There is certain usages for this, especially if you're programming a framework. But I'll come back to that later. First, I want to show how it works. We can make we first have to require the weak ref library. Then we make a weak reference like this. It's fairly simple. Now the vref variable contains the object, and we can get it back like this. Now the interesting thing is what happens when we unset our strong reference, which is stored in the str variable. We do it like that. Now the interesting thing here is that it might actually still return the object, and you can see that it did it there. You cannot really be sure when the garbage collector is going to collect your object. It can differ from various engines, the MRI or JRuby, but we can hopefully make it. We make a new reference for str, and then the weak ref should. That was invalid reference. It has probably been recycled. That means that the str variable is gone now. The one that said Casper, not the new one that says . Now the interesting thing here is that in some situations you might want this to happen, that you don't want to hold it, especially when you're programming frameworks. Like I want to show you an example here. I've made just small PulseAudio up project. It's hosted on GitHub if anyone wishes to look at it. I can also post a link down below in the description of this video. The purpose of this object is to control the PulseAudio in Linux, to turn volumes up and down and control mutes, the muting of the sound cards and stuff. I made it to program my own hotkeys, but right now it's a perfect example. Like I have a list method, and the list method's purpose is to return a list of all the syncs, which is basically a sync is something that can output sound. Now I have like 3 syncs on my sound system on my system here. For each audio device I have a built-in my laptop, and I have my headset, and I also have a sound system that is connected through an external USB sound card. Now I want to return all of these sound cards, but let's for fun, let's say that I had 1,000 sound cards, and I want to return a reference to each 1,000. Now the user only wants one of them, and when he finds it, he stores a reference to that one. And then what's the purpose of having all the other 999 in memory? There is no purpose for this. So so what I do is that I store internally on my class. I have a weak ref map. It's something I programmed in my vref gem, which is an alternative weak ref library, but it's the same as the official one that is in the standard library. As you can see, I store a reference to this in the weak map, which means that all the references in that hash, so to speak, is weak. They will not stay there if the user doesn't make a strong reference to it. And every time I'm returning a new list, I'm always checking, does this sync already exist in the weak hash? Because then I will just return the sync that's already there, or I will spawn it again as a new object, which will keep my memory minimal. And but so you can also think of other frameworks where you could do it. For example, you could say that you want to have a reference to each row in a database, but you only want each row to be spawned as an object once. You don't want two references to the same row in your database, because then one might update the one object, and then the other object wouldn't be updated. And also you would have to use twice as much memory each time you have two objects for the same row, or you might have 5 objects for the same row. It's still the same. So you might do something like this. So basically, just to sum it up, in this list method, I return a real array, or I yield it if a block is given with references to all the sinks, but only if the user stores strong references to each of these sinks, they will stay in memory. Which means that if he just finds one sink that he wants, this is the only sink that will stay in memory. They will all be spawned, but then they can be instantly removed again, which will help my application being low in memory, which is the whole purpose. I hope that this wasn't too confusing for my first screencast. I realized when I hear myself that it might get a little too much, too confusing. I didn't want to take up a simple subject because there are already a lot of videos about hashes and arrays, so I thought I would try a subject that is a little bit more advanced. Please leave feedback in the comments, and if I get good feedback, I might do another screencast. Bye.